Listen, listen, listen. I want you to hear me loud, and I want you to hear me clear. You see, a lot of people got excited and was blasting out the fact that they were getting loans and grants and all of these things. And when people hear money, a lot of times they light up. And when they hear easy money or something that seems to be easy, they light up in it even more. And all they see is green. And sometimes people are willing to do extra things in order to get money in a time where they feel like they actually need it. Desperate times call for desperate measures. So that's what this video is about, because many people have fallen into desperate times, so they've gone to desperate measures. And I want to give you some insights, some ideas, but also give you a heads up of what's going on if you've done this or if you've been in a desperate thought process that made you want to do this, and then provide some possible steps forward, or I would say solutions, but at least some things that you can do going forward. What up? You got Mr. Smith, 0.5 of Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and in this brief video, I just want to show you what's kind of surfacing to be a heads up for those who this might be speaking to, but also be a hand up for someone to really get in motion and take their, economics to the next level if you so choose. So what am I talking about? I know a lot of talk is being done about the EIDL grants, the SBA loans, and it has been for months. And many people are just waking up to it. Many people are anticipating getting funds, and many people have already gotten funds. But the problem is it's been a lot of fraud activity that's been taking place. And I get it. There's a lot of things going on. People are always looking for ways that they can get money. And sometimes, they do things that might not necessarily be the best in order to get money. So with that being said, it has been a lot of fraud that has been taking place. And this is not just for the individual who is a self-employed or work from home or small business, just getting your business off the ground. There's been a lot of fraud that's taking place with them, but it's also been some large entities that have done the same thing. So nobody is exempt. But I just kind of want to paint the picture that, people understand what's going on and the numbers just aren't adding up. But because certain entities or certain people have done these things, it's exhausted some of the funds that would have or could have and should have gone to the everyday self-employed small business owner who really needs certain funds to help add capital and help fuse their business and take it to the next level. So as you can see, my source is coming from the Florida Daily. You're very welcome to pull this up because I won't read it verbatim, but it's a couple of bullet points that I want to hit on, then a couple of solutions or things for you to consider that I want to hit on as well that I feel will give you some additional value, especially if you fall into this category. So as the headline says, Marco Rubio details of the suspected COVID-19 EIDL fraud recently uncovered by the SBA, OIG, are alarming. So basically it's just saying that the fraud that has taken place is kind of alarming. They're kind of shocked by it. And it's even some numerical breakdowns down below that I'll go over that'll pretty much lay out, some of the things that they've noticed. And I'm not sure how widespread these numbers are. I'm not sure if this is just Florida, or if this is, this is the Florida Daily. So this is just a portion of what they reveal, so of course there's more, in other words. So let's talk about it. And I want to just go over this very briefly because there's one main part I want to go to. So Rubio, just so you can kind of get a heads up of who he is, who chairs the U.S. Senate Small Business Committee, weighed in after the SBA Inspector General released management alert. And basically it says, during the drafting and negotiation process of the CARES Act, Chairman Rubio crafted and secured language in support of the SBA's request to ensure that in advance of dispersing the COVID-19 emergency EIDL grants, the SBA must verify that the entity is an eligible applicant for an EIDL loan. This approval takes the form of a certification under penalty of perjury by the applicant that they are eligible. This management advisory is the first step in mitigating and preventing fraud. So they've taken some of the necessary steps in order to try to prevent fraud, even though it still has happened, but they've done their part, in other words. The details of the suspected COVID-19 EIDL fraud recently uncovered by the SBA are alarming, Rubio says. So let's talk about the numbers that, that are alarming. So basically it says that The IG's finding noted serious concerns with the EIDL program that require immediate attention and action during its ongoing evaluation, as the office has seen complaints from more than 1,000 individuals as well as 440 financial institutions, citing more than 5,000 in suspected fraudulent transactions. These suspected fraudulent transactions include, but that doesn't mean it's limited to, include the following. And these are the numbers that I wanted you to see. And instead of me just talking at you or talking to you about these numbers, I wanted to show some receipts. I wanted you to actually see it for yourself. Now, this is the heads up. If you've been affiliated with actually filing for the SBA loan and you didn't rightfully deserve it, or you kind of was on the edge like, do I really qualify, or am I just trying to get this because I'm in a desperate time right now, then you definitely want to listen to the entire video, because it's some things that you need to do like yesterday, like last month, like before you apply for this loan that, might help you. I'm just saying might, but I'm not certain, but you definitely want to stick around to the very end of the video. If you considered it doing the loan, even though you didn't quite qualify, or if you're a new business owner as early as this year, then you definitely want to stick around to the very end as well. And there's some things that might help you, might position you for further greatness, because everybody should be in business. Even if it's just a side hustle, you should have some type of side business. So if you don't and you still apply even though you don't, then you definitely want to understand the things that I'm going to lay out. But if you do and you just don't understand the perks of being a business owner and all the things that go into it that allow you to legally qualify for loans and grants and things of that nature, then stick around. But these are the numbers that they say are alarming, and it's not shocking to me. I get it. People see an opportunity, and if they just listen to everybody on social media talking about it, then you automatically feel like it's law. That's the problem. A lot of people that have influence, or even a little bit of influence, when they say something, people accept it as law, and if people accept it as law, they don't do their own due diligence and look into it or do any digging to find out the truth in it and if they can actually benefit from it. Because of it, they find themselves in predicaments such as this, and there's a lot of investigations going on pertaining to this, all because they listened to a meme or something somebody said on social media. And this is coming from a person who makes posts on social media to educate and enlighten, and just hoping that people will do their own due diligence. Like when I was finding out about certain things, people was telling me I can do X or do Z, but I always go back and try to look into it for myself before I just run out and spread the information, or before I just implement it or do it for myself. I assume that other people were the same way and other people do the same thing. Even though I know people, I still feel like, okay, if they don't want to get access to this type of funding, then they at least do some digging on their own. So that being said, without further ado, let's talk about these numbers, then I'll wrap it up with what I had to say. So these suspected fraudulent transactions include 107.3 million in suspected fraudulent transactions reported by 9 financial institutions. Like I said, it's not just small business, home-based business owners. 250 million EIDL loans and advances were given to potentially ineligible recipients. 208.1 million EIDL loans and 47.8 million EIDL grants to ineligible businesses. Yikes. 35 million and of the 45.6 million in approved duplicate loans have been dispersed. Examples of suspicious activities and suspected fraud include accounts of stolen identification, inability to identify the names of the businesses or their existence. Some people not even able just to identify that they're in business. That's a whole nother conversation. Deposits to accounts that were newly created and or had no business account activity, transfer of funds into investment and personal accounts with no evidence of business ownership, transfer of funds to foreign accounts, and sophisticated phishing, social media, and romance schemes that often were associated with foreign actors and linked to other CARES programs, fraud such as unemployment assistance. So it's a lot of investigation, and it's a lot of things that are alarming to people because people just saw money, opportunity, listening to what he said and she said, and now they find themselves in a position to where I don't know how deep they're going to go, and I don't know, what level they will go as far as the investigation, but this is just something to, kind of wake you up if you participated in this or wanted to participate in this. So with that being said, what you got to understand is this. It's a lot of things that you could qualify for legally without having trying to finagle things if you just set yourself up properly. See, a lot of times people get in business, and the reason they get in business is because they want to write their own check. They want to create as much income as they possibly can. But what you have to understand is that a business owner not only comes with the ability to make as much as you want to make, or as little, because, you know, it's no promises, no guarantees. Entrepreneurship is definitely not a walk in the park. But it also comes with benefits and perks such as tax deductions, such as the ability to qualify for certain funding, such as the ability to qualify for grants, which is unpaid funding, or still in the funding category, but loans you have to pay back, grants you don't. And if you set yourself up properly, then by all means you can legally qualify for certain things, but you must be operating a business. It doesn't matter how much you make or how little you make. You could have qualified for these funds. Prime example, I have a client, and, you know, what I do is teach financial literacy. So we offer financial education. We offer a membership that allows people to understand finances for themselves, self-employed, business income, tax deductions that come along with it, because that's another perk to being in business, tax deduction, being able to write off your lifestyle. The internet that I'm using right now is tax deductible. When I'm using my phone, tax deductible, because I'm always doing things pertaining to recording, marketing, using my phone like crazy in order to build businesses. So what you got to understand is you should be in business, but it's not just about writing your own check. It's also about qualifying for the other things. But I have a client of mine, and, you know, I also have I own a credit restoration service where I not only teach people how to do credit themselves if they want to fix their own credit, but I also do it for them. So if a person wants their credit done, then, you know, my team, my company will go ahead and make that happen. Or if you want to learn to do it yourself, I have a DIY platform or program that you can get access to as well. So anyway, one of my clients wanted to apply for these loans, and he's in the music profession. So basically he's a producer, and he hadn't made a lot of money. He's still getting off the ground, paid for, you know, simple stuff to be able to make beats and things of that nature. So for the year, when I say about not making a lot of money, he may have made $5,000, give or take, for the year. He applied for the loan, put his real income, $5,000. They asked for the cost of goods, so basically the amount of expenses associated with his business, and that was low. So if he had $5,000 in revenue, and then let's say he had $2,000 to $3,000 in cost of goods sold, in order to have the equipment and the things necessary in order to create the income that he had, he put that information in. You know, simple information, because the application wasn't that hard, and he still qualified for a loan. Now, the loan that he qualified for was like $3,500, give or take. Not much, but he can sleep at night. He doesn't have to worry about the fact that investigations are going on and he's in trouble because of the simple fact that he just was honest with his numbers. So many people fabricate numbers and thinking that, well, I got to say I made $100,000, or that's what I project to make this year. Just throwing out numbers that doesn't even fit their scenario, not knowing that if you just are honest with the system is in place for you to benefit just based on your scenario. So if your scenario means that you made $12,000 this year, that's okay. Put $12,000. What was your cost of goods sold? Put that in, and then you may qualify for the grant or the loan legitimately without fabricating numbers. Because there's certain people who would have qualified for the money, it might not have been the number that they end up getting or the level that they wanted to get. However, they still would have got something, and they would have been able to sleep at night without having any pressure of what's about to come, because it's a lot of fraud that's taking place. Investigations are in order, and things just aren't lining up. And some of the big guys, like they say, there's some financial institutions who've done this. Some of the big guys, they may be able to escape, but they may make an example out of a little guy. Who knows? We just got to understand that. Get structured properly. So what I want to conclude with, down below I have access to, you know, just some free information and a couple of things that are pertaining to business, starting your own business. If you do not have a business, then you definitely want to look at the income opportunity down there. I think it'll also be a link below that talks about, you know, starting your own credit service in 24 hours. But if you're not in business and you apply for this, or consider to apply for this, or you're not in business and you understand the importance of having a side income, then you definitely want to click one of those available links. And I don't mind assisting you in any way that I possibly can, because it's just about setting yourself up properly. Some things you can do are free. Getting the EIN, which is the tax ID number, that sets you up to be able to, use your tax ID number versus your social security number all the time. Even if you're operating as a sole proprietorship for now, which basically means that you're operating as an entity who the business is ran by, owned by, and everything falls on you. Then later you might see that, okay, it's better for me to have a LLC or S Corp or, get incorporated, whatever the case may be. Just start somewhere in order for you to gravitate and go to where you're trying to go. But you have to start small, but you definitely need to do it as soon as possible because there's some more money that's being unlocked, and you may legitimately qualify for it if you get things in order, get things in place. And if you're interested in learning how to have your own credit business, then I definitely recommend clicking one of those links below because, the process of you learning how to do credit also helps you along your journey if you want to better your credit yourself. But some people don't want to start a credit business, so just get in where you fit in. But click the links below, and if it's something that applies or you feel that it's a good fit for you, then by all means take advantage of it. If not, no big deal. But I just wanted to highlight what's going on because a lot of people have participated in some fraud activity, but some people legitimately did certain things. They just might not be properly set up. So make sure you're taking care of the back end of your business, whatever it is. Meet the qualifications that you have to meet. Whether that's getting registered to operate under a certain name. I don't care if you go and get a DBA, which is like $25 here in my area, and a DBA is just basically you as an individual saying you're doing business as this entity. So, for example, if your name is, Marcus, like me, and I'm doing business as Royalty Credit, then I can get a DBA, pay $25, and operate under this entity. And if I got a tax ID number plus the DBA, I can get a business bank account set up just off of those two things, and that was very inexpensive, So there's certain things you can do that can set you up. But you definitely want to also be keeping records, track records of the expenses that you make. So it's one thing to say you're in business, but if you're not tracking records of the expenses that you have, whether that's, cost of goods that you have, whether that's marketing that you're paying for, whether that's your phone bill, whether that's your home office expenses, whether that's ink, whatever it is, you want to be tracking those expenses because tracking those expenses is another thing that proves that you're in business. Plus, you want to be marketing because you want to be a person who's in position or in pursuit of a profit. That's being a business owner. You always want to be pursuing a profit, even if it's a side hustle, even if it's something that doesn't produce much income. You still want to be going and working towards a profit, and that solidifies you as being in business. And then, of course, you just build on top of that, and it gets bigger and bigger. So I just wanted to share this. Really just wanted to give you, an overview of this just in case it hadn't come across your desk, just in case you didn't know. And a heads up for those, look, instead of trying to do things fraud, just become a business owner and earn business income versus just trying to get what looks or appears to be a handout. And that way you can sleep at night. A lot of people are trying to do whatever they can in order to earn and bring in more income. I see susus and all of that. And if that's something you participated in, then you definitely need to be getting your own business. Definitely. Because if you can do something like that that has no product, no service attached to it, what are you doing? You can do that with your own business and tell people about your business, and now you generate revenue. Now you're, benefiting from the tax deduction, and now you can legally qualify for some of these things and programs that are in place, such as the grants and many things that are yet to come. So that's all I got. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions below, or click the available link. If anything fits or applies to you and you think it's a good fit, by all means take advantage. If not, no big deal. Just wanted to make it available. That's all I got, Mr. Smith. 0.5 of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Signing out.